Hello, welcome to my alpha release of Obsidian Ink. So I've been working pretty hard on it the last few days, ironing out a couple of annoying bugs that have popped up here and there. But I have submitted it to Obsidian. I think this recording started slightly late, so I'll just start again. Welcome. This is the alpha release of Obsidian Ink. I've released it to Obsidian, or I've submitted it to Obsidian, waiting for them to approve it, but they've already told me there's a couple of things I need to change. Their automated bot has said that. So I'll fix them in the next couple of days. But in the meantime, if you want to install it, the first thing you should do is jump on the Obsidian plugin directory and search for Dale De Silva or Ink, or Dale De Silva, and then click on Ink, and install it from there. If it's not there yet, then it hasn't been accepted yet, but you might be watching this in the future, so it might be there. If it's not there, then there's a plugin called BRAT, which will let you install it regardless. So I'll show you how to do that at the end. But let's jump in and have a look at what's there. So I'll switch to my iPhone camera. So I've got this file here. It's just a Markdown file. Whoops. Just a Markdown file. I've already added some handwriting down the bottom. We'll look at that in a sec. Now, I can just click in between these two paragraphs and I'll press enter, return twice just to add a little bit of space. Now, if I want to insert a handwriting section there, I can drag down from the top, which gives me the command palette. And if I search ink or handwriting, I can see there's insert new drawing or new handwriting section there. So I can do it there, but I've set up another plugin called /commander, which I'll show you a little later. So that if I just do a slash there, a /, I get some custom commands. So now I can say insert new handwriting section. So immediately gives me one line to draw on and a few buttons. So I can switch between select, write, erase, lock, and I've got a line to draw on. So I'm just going to say, hello there, this is my handwriting, and I ran out of space. And you'll notice as soon as I start drawing, it gives me another line. So if I keep writing, it just keeps giving me lines, and you'll notice it keeps pushing everything else down. Now, this is still in the Markdown file. So if I can scroll down, I can do whatever I want. I can erase, so click on erase and then just color over that stuff to erase things. I can select, though this may not work that well in many instances. It's not a great select tool for handwriting. You can see I tried to select that line and it selected the Y. A bug at the moment is if you select and you move something, it suddenly makes your lines infinitely long. Don't worry about that. Just as soon as you start writing, that'll fix up again. But I will fix that up. You've got undo, redo there. So if I go undo, 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 you've got redo, redo, redo. And I will lock that. So when I lock it, it basically becomes an image and I don't have to worry about it again. You'll notice the image quality, or you might notice that the image quality is slightly degraded compared to when you're writing. That will improve over time, but for now it's just a bit lower res so that I make sure that it doesn't kind of, when I capture the image, it doesn't crash people's or it doesn't create an error and not create the screenshot. So okay, so let's go maybe down here and we'll add something else. So notice I can go, I'll go /, I'll go new handwriting section again. The handwriting sections won't lock if they have nothing in them. So don't stress about that. That's expected behavior, but I'll refine that process later. Let's draw something there and then lock it. And now these are kind of, there's no interface showing. So how do I go back to editing these? Well, if I click on it, you'll see edit appears. If I click on this, edit disappears there and it appears here. So I can click edit and I can go back into editing it. I'll lock that. And reminder again, if I edit this, it's gonna keep pushing all the content down below. So if I am doing dot points and I have a dot point list, this is a great feature where you can come back up and add more dot points and it just keeps pushing everything down, including your other ink sections. I'll add one more thing here. So it also has an ability to add a drawing. So it's very similar technology. So I did that as well. So it's just, oh, it's bugging out a little bit. It is alpha, so expect some bugs. It's a drawing section. So this just basically doesn't have lines. Let me go back to that. It's done some weird stuff. This basically just doesn't have lines for you to write on. And then so you can draw anything. When you lock it, it'll enlarge that to fill the space. At some point, I'll do a thing where it's allows you to change the size of the image without having to draw it that exact size. But for now, it just enlarges it to fill. So if you draw something small, it'll get bigger. But I'll refine that over time. So again, same kind of thing. You got your edit button. You can always go back and edit it. And if you draw further out, then when you lock it, it's going to pull that into the center. And when you unlock it again, it's going to give you more space. At the moment, there's no way to pinch and zoom and create more space. But again, that'll refine over time. Now, looking at this bottom one, there's a bug that I should show. So at the moment, I've had to limit the amount of lines that will appear, or the amount of strokes of your pen that will appear on screen at any one time. So if I edit this, this is already at about 300 lines. So, one sec. So if I keep writing here, you'll start to notice the top lines, because they're the oldest, start disappearing. Oops. Hello there. This is. So you're starting to notice they're disappearing now. At the moment, this hasn't gotten in my way. I use this plugin regularly, and it hasn't gotten in my way because usually I've got the writing right up here so I can write, so I don't even notice it disappear. But the reason that's disappearing is because with too many lines on screen, it creates a lag, and it becomes quite frustrating to write and not very usable. I'll fix that in the future. I have to change the technology that this is built on, the framework that this is built on, to a canvas-based framework, if you know anything about web programming. But for now, just to keep that latency working well, I've just chosen to hide those lines. They still exist. So if you lock this, those lines come back, right? But if you edit it again, the top lines disappear so that you keep being able to write smoothly. So I'm going to lock that. So that's everything. I'm going to jump back to me now on screen. Okay, so let's look at how some of that lives in here. So let's have a look at this screen. I've got an empty vault here. Let me make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to create a new Markdown file. I'll just call it my Markdown file. And I'll put some writing in here. And then I'll add in a new handwriting section. And I don't have a pen on my computer, so I'm just going to scribble some stuff here and lock it. and let's add in another handwriting section. Why didn't that look? Let's add that in, and let's add in a drawing section. Now, what I want to show here is where those live. So they don't live in the Markdown file. They live as external files. So you see an attachment folder has appeared here. And if I open that up, it's got an ink folder inside, and inside that it's got drawing and writing inside that. So if I look inside writing, you've got a writing file, 2 writing files, and 2 PNGs, which are the screenshots that have been created of those that get embedded into the file. If I click on the writing files, I can edit them right here, and I can scroll up and down, but I can't scroll sideways. But I can, if I want to edit a writing file directly here, I can. But because of that stroke limitation, I don't think it's a great idea, because you're kind of encouraged to do heaps of writing in the one writing file. So I'd keep doing it in the Markdown files. And if the stroke limitation gets annoying, you can always create another section here with another handwriting section to separate them into multiple sections. Also, there's the drawing section and the PNG as well. So drawing is an infinite canvas, so I can zoom out as much as I want here. Zoom in or out. I'm holding Command and scrolling. This is on Mac. And if I go back to that Markdown file, I'll see that image has updated here. Okay, so why is it in an attachment folder? Well, that pays attention to your settings. So if I open up my settings and I go to Files and Links, I have attachment folder path named Attachments. So that's what I want Obsidian to regularly use for my attachments. That's what I've set up. So that's what that's called. But within that, it's always going to be called ink, and it's always going to have drawing and writing. Now, let's look at some more settings. So if I go down to ink settings panel, you'll see there's a bunch of things here about the alpha state. There's a few links to different things, requesting a feature, reporting a bug, development diaries, roadmap, etc. It'll talk about setting up /commander, which I'll show you in a second, and some high-level functionality. You can just turn off writing if you want, and you can turn off drawing if you want. And when you do, these other sections disappear. There's no settings in those sections yet, but that'll grow over time. So let me turn off drawing and go back, and you'll see that in the Markdown file, if I close and open again, oh, no, it hasn't turned off. Why hasn't it turned off? Oh, because I need to restart Obsidian. One sec. Okay, so this is how it's embedded at the moment. It's just a little code block that has the version of the plugin when you embedded it and the file path to that attachment. And that's it. That'll change in the future, not particularly soon, but when it does, I'll upgrade everyone's files. What else? Okay, so let's turn back on the drawing, and let's change to light mode. So now in light mode, let me close this and open it again. You'll see the lines are faded out quite a bit because they're screenshots that have been made based on the dark mode. So if I switch from light mode to dark mode, those screenshots will be a little bit out of whack at the moment. But if I click on it and edit it, it switches the color scheme to light mode, and now it will have screenshotted that in light mode. And so now it appears correct. So that's expected at the moment. Hopefully it gets better over the time, but either way, I don't think anyone's switching between light mode and dark mode too regularly. Maybe on different devices that might be an issue, but either way, that's why it's happening. So let's jump back to dark mode because that is too bright for me. So you can see that one suffers a bit more. It's almost black. It is black, so you can't see it at all. Okay. What's next? Okay, let's look at BRAT installation. So if it's not in the Obsidian plugin directory, which it isn't at the moment, I can install this by going to a plugin called BRAT. So I don't have that installed down here. So I'm going to go to Community Plugins, turn it on if you haven't yet. Turn off restricted mode. It's a bit weirdly named. And then go Browse and search for BRAT. Well, first search for Dale D. Silva, and you can see ink isn't there, so you can't install it. So let's search for BRAT. Install BRAT. Enable, and then I'll close that and I'll go down to BRAT options. Now it says here you can add a beta plugin here, or with a frozen version if you want to use an older version. I want to add a beta plugin, and it says, okay, what's the repository URL? Well, then you need to go to my GitHub, and I'll link you directly to the repository in this video notes. I haven't yet, but I will. So in repositories, go to Obsidian Ink. You don't need to do any of this because I'll link you directly to the Obsidian Ink page, which is loading, which is this one, which is the one that has the demos and roadmap and everything. So on there, all you need to do is grab this URL and copy it, go back and paste it in here. And I think I put this URL directly in the video files description, the YouTube video's description. So you can just copy it from there. You don't even need to go to my GitHub, and then just put that in and say add plugin. I won't do that now because I've already got the plugin in there and it's going to screw up my development environment. But that's it. That'll give you the plugin, and Bob's your uncle. You'll be good to go. Now, is there anything else I need to note? There are a bunch of bugs in it still. It's pretty usable, but there are bugs in it. Let me see if I can... Someone put up a bug today. I think they were saying if you go to reading view, nothing changes. Looks to me like it does change. Maybe it was source mode. No, that seems to change for me. Anyway, that was posted as an issue, so I'm going to look into that. There are a bunch of other ones. What are they? I think PNGs or the screenshots aren't getting saved on iPad at the moment, and I haven't tried it on my Surface, so I'll try that at some point soon. But I wouldn't worry about the PNGs. They're not actually being used yet. They're just a future thing. Occasionally, I think it gets stuck in a loop and starts flashing. Like this'll, like if you create a brand new one. Let's see if I can reproduce it. So if I can create a brand new one, / new handwriting section, and then I click on this. No, I think I stopped that flashing, but if it comes back, sometimes that flashes. If you are on an iPad and you use, the first thing you touch in here is with your finger, it'll let you draw by finger. But as soon as you use the pen, it'll stop you using the pen. It'll stop you using your finger. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that or not. It's just something that's happened by accident. Let me know how you feel about it. But really, this plugin's for pen use. So I'm not sure that'll be that useful. Last thing is, how do you post a bug if you find one? So if you go to that Obsidian Ink GitHub repository, you'll see at the top there's an issues section, and 3 people have posted issues. two of these are really old. This one's because someone found the plugin today and installed it. So that's the one that I talked about with the source mode. But yeah, if you want to start a new issue, if you see one that's already covers what you've found, then just comment in there and let me know you're having the same issue. Or if it's not in there, create a new issue and let me know, and we'll improve it over time, and it'll become more and more robust and fully featured. So thanks a lot. Glad to have that available for everyone. Cheers.